Welcome to The Review, a Rev partnership podcast, where we host conversations that share the power of public education and its impact on our region. I'm your host, Dr. Elizabeth Brands. In each episode, we will explore the stories, insights, and conversations that shape the future of student learning and growth in our region. Tarrant County is a community with incredible power and potential. At the heart of this power is our public education. Education is more than just a foundation. It's a catalyst for transformation. Let's jump into the episode. Welcome to The Review, a Rev partnership podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Elizabeth Brands. Today's episode, we're sitting down with 4 of Tarrant County's superintendents to discuss the state of public education in Tarrant County. In our conversation, we will highlight the great things happening across their districts and share with the community how these leaders are jumping into action in this new year. Today, I am joined by Dr. Felicia Donaldson, Superintendent of Everman ISD, Mr. Frank Molinar, Superintendent of White Settlement ISD, Dr. Mark Ramirez, Superintendent of Lakeworth ISD, and Dr. Jerry Hollingsworth, the Superintendent of Eagle Mountain-Saginaw ISD. Thank you, all 4 of you, for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Well, let's go around the room and let you introduce yourselves in even a better way than I introduced you. Share yourself, the district you're a part of, maybe the size of your district, just to give a kind of some context perspective. And one of the things that makes you the most excited about being the superintendent, it can be school mascot, whatever it might be. And Dr. Donaldson, we'll get started with you.
Okay, I'll kick that off. Now we're competitive, so I don't know. Well, Felicia Donaldson here. I've been superintendent. This starts my 5th year. I've served in Everman ISD since 2006 in various roles and have been in education for 28 years now. So it's my passion. Everman is the place to be. What makes us unique? We have that small country feel. It's a district with heart. Our enrollment is a little bit less than 5,000. Our socioeconomic rate is about 94% socioeconomically disadvantaged. So our students come with a lot of challenges, but we have amazing staff that, we have high expectations for our students. They rise to those challenges.
Absolutely.
It's a great place to be.
Thank you, Dr. Donaldson.
Hi, I'm Frank Molinar. Very blessed and honored to be the superintendent of schools in White Settlement ISD. I'm starting my 35th year in White Settlement. Also, I'm a very proud graduate of Brewer High School, class of 85, and I tease all the time with our kids. I can boogie, we can jive. We're from the class of 85. And I don't really find that funny, except for a few class of 85 people there. But love White Settlement ISD. Grew up there. It's given me a great deal of opportunity, and I'm excited to give back. I'm excited for another year. I've got a second year, 4th grade teacher that's my daughter, and a 7th grade world history teacher, Mason, that's my son, that's a first year teacher this year. So it's exciting. It's an exciting place to be. And we are the best district in the universe, right next to Everman.
Okay.
So, and Lakeworth and Eagle Mountain-Saginaw.
It's a family affair over there at White Settlement, isn't it? That's wonderful.
It's a great place to grow up and live.
Okay. And Dr. Ramirez, you're new at Lakeworth ISD. We're glad to have you over from Dallas ISD as you step into the role of superintendent.
Well, I'm excited to be here. 26 years in education. First year as a superintendent, so I'm learning from these great people here. I already made connections. I'm just excited about just the opportunity to come in and impact a community. Mm-hmm. We have 3,200 students. And of course, you hear about the bullfrogs. And, it's interesting, these districts, small communities that back and forth, like, where are you from? There's a lot of White Settlement, Eagle Mountain-Saginaw. So I know we share students, we share staffs. And the main thing for me is just the energy. We had our convocation last week. And what I'm excited about is the energy and the excitement of the staff. So I just want to keep that going and make an impact here for Lakeworth ISD.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here. Dr. Hollingsworth.
Jerry Hollingsworth. I have been superintendent in Eagle Mountain-Saginaw ISD since January. So getting my feet wet in a fantastic school district. We have just under 24,000 kids, and we continue to grow. We opened last year our 4th comprehensive high school, and it's very exciting. We'll have a senior class there for the first time this year, so that's exciting to see that happening. And in a district that has so many wonderful traditions, to see our newest campus begin to establish those traditions is exciting. The thing about Eagle Mountain-Saginaw is my deputy superintendent, Walter Behringer, I'll give him credit because he says we're large enough to serve you but small enough to love you. And there's still such a hometown feel in Eagle Mountain-Saginaw that we're really proud of. It's something that all of my board members remarked whenever I took that job, and it has been true.
Well, Dr. Donaldson, you guys said you guys are a competitive group. And so, Frank, you have it on all of them in terms of your length of tenure at White Settlement ISD. Yes. So they're all striving to be superintendents as long as you have held that position. Yes. And we got this podcast started because we wanted to provide a platform for our education leaders, particularly our region superintendents, to communicate the wonderful work that is happening inside your districts and schools and classrooms every single day. There are about 700 campuses that your school districts operate on a daily basis, and those will be back up and running in August, filled with kids. And there is nothing that we like to do more on this podcast than be able to be in a position to celebrate the wonderful things you are doing. And so as we look at the Spring STAR data that is out in its preliminary form, we have lots to celebrate in our region. Your districts have maintained or grown, all of your districts, their 3rd grade reading scores. And when we look at that 3rd grade reading score as such a predictor of future academic success and all the years that they will have in your districts beyond 3rd grade and the critical importance of being able to read on grade level at 3rd grade, this is a tremendous milestone that each of your districts maintained or improved those numbers between the 24 and spring of 25 years. All of your districts also had gains in 3rd grade math. So again, you are hitting it hard in those early years to make sure that the foundational subjects of reading and math are really where they need to be for kids. And all of your districts showed gains in 8th grade science. So again, there's nothing that we like to do more on this podcast than make sure we are celebrating the great work that's happening across your districts. And give you an opportunity too. We know that you are looking at more metrics than just the STAR assessment that happens once every spring, and you're using those to inform annual progress throughout the year, mid-year progress, et cetera. And Dr. Donaldson, I'll get it started with you, as Everman really was an exemplar this year in terms of what you did for improvement this spring. But what are things that you are most excited about in terms of student progress that you're seeing at Everman ISD?
Thank you for the question. We're excited on the progress, which is what you mentioned, and an intentional focus on our people. We implement the HQIMs for 3rd grade reading. That's Amplify for us, but really coaching and supporting our teachers and campus leaders because we know when they're their best, our kids get the best.
Yeah.
And so, that's 3rd grade, but then even looking further or a little bit lower down at pre-K and K, our focus there as well as making sure our students have a strong foundation using our iReady and Dibbles to monitor their growth and progress throughout the year to make sure that once they get to elementary before STAR, that they're ready.
Okay. So really a deep investment in those kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade years, even before that Spring STAR assessment.
Yes.
Okay. And Frank, how about you? What gets you most excited about the progress?
Well, I'll tell you, I want to tailgate on Dr. Donaldson as well. And it's always great to sit with colleagues that are passionate about the future of this community in Tarrant County. I'm going to tailgate as well. That teacher training is essential. You need to be focused on that. Retention as well. Those connections that I see that I get excited about when I'm traveling the campuses and going into the classrooms, the connections that I see with staff and students and expectation of accountability and just the why, why we continue to do what we do. I believe it's important to have effective Tier 1 teaching. I think that the collaborative PLC process is crucial to success for children. But we get a chance to sit and visit monthly at Region 11. It's always good to, Harry Wong always said, still, and make it your own. And that's kind of my motto there, that if Eagle Mountain-Saginaw is doing something great, then I need to step out and say, well, what are you doing? How does that work? Lake Worth does great things. Everman does some great things, but I think together we're a pretty force to be reckoned with. And that's what I get excited about. I get excited about tomorrow's promise and tomorrow's hope.
We are a force to be reckoned with in Tarrant County
That's
when
right.
we come together.
Yes.
Good for you. And Dr. Hollingsworth, I know that Eagle Mountain-Saginaw is really thinking about those early years of life and school. And maybe it's that or something else that you're really paying attention to and excited about from what you saw last year with students across your district.
One of the things that we're really excited about is our district is, we're going through a process to develop what we call a balanced scorecard. And it's really a skinnier version of the district improvement plan, if you will. Coming in new, one of the things that I really wanted us to be able to get clear about is really focus down on what's most important in terms of student performance, in terms of how it is that we take care of our staff, how we engage with the community, and how we take care of our money. So those really end up being our 4 priorities under which we really put everything else. And so that's been exciting. We've gone through a really collaborative process. We started back in the spring working with our instructional leaders on campuses and at the district level, pulling in and getting teacher feedback and helping us develop that. So we're really excited about putting that into place. And that gives us just, it helps so much. Peter Senge says that, if everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. And so our ability to be able to determine what's most important really helps everybody. It helps leaders lead and it helps teachers teach.
Dr. Ramirez, you're stepping into this role with fresh eyes at Lake Worth. And what are you seeing that you really feel like is exciting to you about student progress and you're even thinking about doubling down on next year?
Well, doubling down is definitely an interesting phrase because we definitely need to do that. Mm-hmm. We celebrate, the successes and coming in here, trying to learn from really the exemplars that are already in place. Mm-hmm. I've been very specific and strategic coming in here. Yes, I have my experiences. Yes, I have what's worked before. But again, it's a new district. Mm-hmm. So it's leveraging the talent that's already in place and learning from the experts that are already here. Mm-hmm. Like Dr. Donaldson said, foundation, K-2. Mm-hmm. Third grade is definitely a metric, a grade that we definitely need to kind of pay attention to. And when we look at the data, specifically our meets and masters, mm-hmm. is really emphasizing the increase in meets and masters. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited about the energy and enthusiasm of, we did a lot of work already. Yeah. Leadership retreat. And to me, it's just asking the right questions. Mm-hmm. What worked, what didn't work. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited about, we call it the Lake Worth Instructional Framework that, again, I didn't bring in. The teachers, the leadership, the cabinet developed. And it's the consistency in the systems that we're going to implement. And I tell them, hey, you're one of these, we have to select the 3 systems that we're going to implement. Because guess what? Next year, it's going to be the same 3 systems. And in year 3, the same 3 systems. Yeah. Year 4, same 3 systems. We're just going to get better at implementing and improving those systems. So
every single one of you talked about your people. And we know that one of the biggest factors in an effective school and district are the people. All of you talked about the investments you're making in training them, supporting them, and how valuable they are to really the outcomes that you saw for students last spring and that you strive to continue to see for kids as we go into this upcoming year. And Dr. Donaldson, Everman ISD made a big move in adopting TIA a couple of years ago and really taking that statewide model and saying, how can this benefit the teachers in Everman ISD? And that was a specific strategy that you adopted to support teachers. Can you talk to us a little bit about what went into that decision and any of the results that you are seeing come out of that over the first couple of years it's been in place?
Yes, of course. We started TIA 21-22. Of course, we did all the legwork with focus groups, getting teacher input, community input, and board approval. It has been wonderful for us. We really haven't had any negatives at all or any hiccups with it. it's a great way to reward teachers, but it also helps us retain teachers. And so anyone that hasn't done it, I would strongly say do it. It's a win for the district, for us.
And all of your districts that have been a part of REV for the last 2 years have put together looking at teacher data, looking at retention rates, as you cited, of teachers. Noticed that there are some subpopulations of teachers that have a higher turnover rates than other groups of teachers. And one of those is in the CTE, the high school teaching area. And so it was your CTE directors that said, we need to do something about this, that those CTE teachers are very critical to student success, but also funding from CCMR bonus funding. And they recognize some challenges in putting together professional development for CTE teachers just within their own districts. For example, some of your districts only have one ag teacher. And so who are they supposed to learn from in terms of, effective ag practices in the classroom? And so all of your districts were a part of developing a region-wide CTE induction and professional development framework to say, how can we get CTE teachers from all across the region together so that even if we don't have 2 ag teachers in one district for them to learn from, the ag teacher in Everman can learn from the ag teacher in Mountain-Saginaw, and that we can also check the box for every district in having this professional development rather than every single district creating it on their own. So we know that too, that your districts have collectively, as Frank says, we're strong when we come together, created solutions that have helped with that teacher competency retention from a professional development side. House Bill 2 this year that was passed this legislative session, it had some big pieces in it related to teacher workforce. And I think if that signals anything to us, it signals that the state recognizes the importance of an effective teacher workforce and put some legislative action, incentives, mandates behind that. As you think about that legislation, I know there's always more that we want in a legislative year, but what are you seeing as the opportunities that prevents for your district to either accelerate something you've already been investing in, or get something off the ground, or just in general support the work you are already doing in investing in that effective teacher workforce? And maybe Frank, will get started with you.
Sure. I as mentioned before, I think that training is crucial. I think that retention is crucial. I know that I do want to step back a little bit and give a shout out to Dr. Cantu and Mansfield ISD. We were able to launch our Early Learners Academy this year at one of our elementary campuses, revitalized it and made it new. But the emphasis is, the focus is there, and the opportunities to give that training and give that funds and give those salaries to continue the growth there, and to those are the things I see that are important. But I did want to take an opportunity to shout out Dr. Cantu and her staff, because we spent a lot of time over there. We were like a bad penny. We just kept going back and forth, and she was always so open to making sure that we got what we needed to help the children in our community, that the success that they were seeing in theirs.
Dr. Ramirez, do you want to add anything about kind of how the opportunity you see that maybe House Bill 2 presents to Lake Worth in deepening investments in the teacher workforce that you already have recognized is so important to your success?
Yes. Well, one thing we always talk about, you mentioned curriculum and implementing the curriculum, but really I'll say the teacher is the program. That's really where most of our funding is on personnel.
Yeah.
And one of the things that House Bill 2 did for us, and I'm learning, like I said, we struggle with recruitment because of salary. With smaller districts, it's kind of harder to compete with some of the larger districts that can offer or are offering a little bit higher salaries. But what House Bill 2 did for us is, because we have 5,000 or less students, we're able to, I would say, in a sense, level the playing field, where we can go in from 60,000, right, if you're 5 years or more, from 60,000 to 68,000 incoming salary. But not only recruiting, obviously, new teachers, but teachers with 5+ years of experience. So what it's done is opened up, and actually we only have 3 vacancies right now to start the year. But I think House Bill 2 helped us with, being able to recruit and attract more talent to Lake Worth ISD.
That's wonderful. Data.
Just as long as it wasn't coming from White Settlement. or Everman.
That's that friendly competition again. And when we look at data on our teacher workforce in Tarrant County, it's about that 5-year mark that data is showing teachers are retained the longest, they're the most effective. And so really you're citing kind of some of the supports the legislation gives, not only in recognizing that districts of 5,000 students or fewer get a little bit bigger bump in that per teacher increase, but also kind of where that threshold that data is supporting is that they can provide the most student impact. So those are some good examples that you're thinking about. And Eagle Mountain-Saginaw, how are you thinking about the opportunity that House Bill 2 presents in terms of what you're already doing to support teachers or where you want to take it next?
Anytime we're able to pay teachers more, that's good. And that's a good thing. I mean, we want to honor them, and that does that. I mean, that's a very specific way we're able to do that. I'd also, though, point at some things we've been really working on. We've been intentional about looking at our class sizes, trying to make them more manageable, which is a real balancing act given, the state of finance, but that is one thing that we've really worked on. I can tell you at our elementary levels, as we're taking on the challenge of 2 new instructional resources, one of the things that we've done is we've built in time. We got real creative. Our principals, it took weeks, but principals worked together to ensure that those teachers have time during the day to be able to do internalization on those lessons, which is the shift from what used to be lesson planning to now just internalizing and fully understanding and having a plan of how we're going to approach instruction when we go in. And so those are some of the things we've done to strengthen collaboration and help teachers do the work. So
wonderful. We know this work too faces its share of challenges. And as you think about, this past year that we're wrapping up, and as we're moving into a new year, what are some of the challenges that you're ready to leave behind that, you're looking at and saying, this is something that we as a district are ready to overcome. We have overcome it, things that are challenges that you have recognized and really are saying we're tackling anew as we go into, a new year. I think a new year brings fresh opportunities, and this is going to be the best year yet for schools in Tarrant County. Jerry, is there something that comes to mind to you that you're thinking about? And then I'll just kind of let the group popcorn style it from there.
Yeah, I think for us, one of the biggest struggles in schools, especially districts that have been successful for such a long time, and when you start to see some areas where maybe we've got some cracks and areas where we need to get better, it really boils down to variability. That you'll go from school to school and then from classroom to classroom, and you see lots of variability in how it is that kids are receiving instruction. And so that's one of the areas that we're really targeting. And we do that not in a, hey, you better be teaching, it's not a stick. It's more of a, hey, how can we support you and provide you the time and the resources you need? What most teachers, in my experience, are going to find, and we're making the shift to the high quality instructional materials, as they're called, Bluebonnet Math, and then Amplify Texas for ELAR. And from what you typically hear from teachers after they've done it for a while, it's hard initially. It's a difficult shift. But after 2 or 3 months, you start hearing lots of comments about, this is so much easier. I don't have to go hunt and find and, procure the things I'm going to give my children in the classroom. It's all there. And that's something we're looking forward to.
Jerry, there's been a lot of conversation across the state about shifting enrollment in our traditional ISDs. And, when Rev did some data analysis on that 2 years ago and shared it with superintendents, what we really found was that a lot of it was due to just census data. There are fewer school-age kids in Tarrant County. They're shifting where they are living. But also, Tarrant County is now Fort Worth is now the 11th largest city, and Tarrant County is one of our state's fastest growing regions. And so we also are juxtaposed with districts that have had really rapid student enrollment. Eagle Mountain-Saginaw is one of those districts. And I wonder if some of this is is something you would attest to, kind of just the growing size of your school district and how you manage, growth and increasing scale with maintaining the same, quality and heart that Eagle Mountain-Saginaw has always had.
Yeah, I mean, for us, when we talk about shifts in demographics or changes in how it is that maybe our families look compared to 20 years ago, that's good for understanding. But really beyond that, we don't accept those things as being excuses or reasons why we can't. They simply have to help inform how we make better decisions for kids. We can bemoan, man, kids used to get read to every night when they were 2, and then they came to us, and that doesn't happen. For lots of children, especially children of poverty. And so, we don't cry about it. We just say, well, what are we going to do? We have to make the most when we have the kids with us. And we don't bemoan what happens when we don't.
I'll open it up to you to see if someone wants to take the question next. Kind of what's a challenge that you have faced head on and that you really feel like you have a good solution for as you move forward? As we know, this work is filled with, its share of challenges, and that you are leaders who, like Dr. Hollingsworth said, face those things head on. You don't bemoan it, and you use that competitive spirit to say, we're going to persist and figure this out on behalf of kids.
Well, those of us that survived COVID, that's hopefully in the rearview mirror. I think some of the things that come up are cell phones, and we're all working through that. And, I can share our experience in White Settlement. We were able to put some things in place last year that's helped us for this year, but it's going to be one of those. I'm just glad as superintendent to know that, that our state recognizes that there's a concern and that we need that support. Mm-hmm. So I think that having those distractions eliminated will be very beneficial. Mm-hmm. And I contribute to some of our success as well, to, hey, this is what we do when this is the expectation. This is where we don't stay up late trying to upset you. We've got our own families, but this is a concern and we want to move forward on it. I don't know. I can only speak for White Settlement, but it was an issue to be an issue again, but we're addressing it with some more teeth. Mm-hmm. So
good.
I think for Everman, we could list challenge after challenge from, we did see a decrease in enrollment. Attendance was a challenge. Safety is always at the forefront. Yes. I'm excited for this new year. We will address each of those challenges as we always do. Educators, we're resilient. We focus on kids and we do the work. And so I'm just excited about the energy of a new school year. Our campus administrators, teachers, they are energized and ready to go. Our community, the support that we have from our parents, even with the cell phones now, when we send information out, they ate us up. But they are ready they welcome the change as well. We know that it's going to be a transition for kids, but just the opportunity with the new school year to start over, to do it again with the areas that we refined going into this new school year.
Yeah. Dr. Ramirez.
Yeah, I'll take you maybe in a different direction. Coming in, the one word that keeps on coming over and over again with cabinet and now with my team saying it over is consistency. And what's our word? Consistency in anything that we do. You mentioned curriculum. And just coming in here, hey, well, we've changed curriculum. For the past 3 years, it's been a different curriculum. Mm-hmm. So guess what? There's not a perfect curriculum out there. Yeah. It's like, what curriculum are we using? And let's be consistent in implementing it. So the one thing for me is the challenge. And again, it sounds simple, but, Dr. Donaldson, you mentioned the high expectations. You mentioned 90% economically disadvantaged. So that's sometimes for me, in simplest form, is we need to have high expectations for our students. And you need to make sure you state it and you share it. And, because we're not going to let our zip code define the destiny of our kids. Mm. And just saying that, actually in convocation, they stood up and they clapped for that statement because they want to be led. Teachers want to be led, but it's more a consistent culture of high expectations and believing in our kids that they can do it as long as we just feed them every day, and kind of guide them where we need them to go.
Yeah, that's a wonderful mindset. I mean, I think, what I heard from all of you is no excuses. You accept what you receive, and you set high expectations with a real discipline and determination and priority on not just you as the people and leaders of the districts, but recognizing that there are people across all this work that are the engine that drive the outcomes that you're getting, and the investments in those people from campus leadership to classroom leadership is a top priority that you have seen benefit you in the past and that you're carrying with you into the new academic year. We're all excited about next year. You have a lot of momentum around the teachers that you are investing in. And what do you want the community to know about the state of public education in Tarrant County? And before we throw it to each of you here in the room, we're going to jump over to a Tarrant County superintendent who couldn't be with us in person today, but wanted to make sure that she was chiming in on this question, Dr. Gayle Stinson from Birdville ISD. Let's roll the clip.
Good afternoon, everybody. I appreciate the opportunity to be involved, and sorry I couldn't be there in person, but I always enjoy talking about public education, and specifically public education in Tarrant County. I think that there's a lot that we can say, a lot that we can talk about, and I just want to start off a little bit about the progress that we're seeing in Tarrant County across the board. School districts are increasingly focused on innovative programs and college and career readiness and community partnerships, and specifically in Birdville ISD, those community partnerships help support everything that we do. From expanded career and tech pathways to our award-winning fine arts and dual credit programs, Tarrant County Schools provide students with such well-rounded education that's preparing them for success in this rapidly changing world. The progress is made even stronger by the and I truly mean this when I say it, the unwavering support of our local city and county governments. They actively invest, and they've been doing this for a long time, but I would say the past 5 years there's just been an intensity of the investment and the success of our students and our schools across Tarrant County. Funding partnerships, mentorship programs, shared community resources. Our county exemplifies what's possible when education is truly a shared priority. When I say that, I'm talking about both small businesses and major corporations across the region. They're playing a vital role partnering with our schools to provide internships, career exposure, real-world learning opportunities, and it's preparing our students for the future, not only in Tarrant County, but beyond. And so I think it reflects a community-wide commitment to shaping a strong, educated workforce for generations to come throughout Tarrant County and the state. Specifically in Birdville ISD, some of the great things that have been happening because of these partnerships. Our Birdville Center for Technology and Advanced Learning students just won the national championship for interactive application and video game development. We actually have 2 kiddos that are starting their own business and moving on in the world of entrepreneurship because of that. And we all know that extracurriculars play a really strong part in the development of all students. We have a boys basketball team that played for the state championship last time for the first time in 70 years, and we're loving that. We're celebrating anniversaries of inception across the district. In particular, we have 31 campuses, and one of our middle schools is celebrating their 50th year anniversary this fall. We have, and I think of great importance, our Texas Association of Future Educator students. We have a student who won first place at the national competition this year, and so growing our own is something that Tarrant County has invested in, we have invested in, we believe in wholeheartedly. And while we hear all of these great things for public ed and Tarrant County and Birdville ISD in particular, there are also, I think that it's important for us to all have a conversation about key areas for continued and shared improvement that need to take place. Equitable access to resources, such as, let's talk about advanced coursework or technology, support services, to ensure that all of our students, regardless of their background or zip code, have the opportunity to succeed. And I think that we all have a hand in responsibility in doing that. Also, I think continued investment in recruiting and retaining, high quality educators. I truly believe that every district in Tarrant County is making a concerted effort in that arena, and I know we are, especially in high need subject areas, to help sustain our academic excellence across all schools. So I think if I had to sum it up, Tarrant County, the investment in students, not just from the school districts, but from the community and county as a whole, is what makes us great and different. Thank everyone so much for including me. I hope you have a great rest of your episode.
Okay, well, we're going to throw it to you guys in the room here today about what do you want the community to know about the state of education in Tarrant County. And Dr. Stinson mentioned a number of things, including the CTE program that Birdville ISD operates. And as Rev Partnership has hosted monthly convenings with you and your education leaders, we've always tried to get out to your school districts to have those. And on more than one occasion, we have hosted them in your CTE buildings and used your culinary programs to prepare the food. Definitely, we've been at Eagle Mountain-Saginaw where they did breakfast for us. And I even had 2 young ladies in the CTE center at Eagle Mountain-Saginaw offer if I wanted a haircut that day. And I'm not sure if that said more about what my hair looked like that day or they wanted somebody to practice on. But lots of great things happening, in your school districts and especially in those CTE centers, like Dr. Stinson mentioned. But I'll throw it over to you. What do you want the community to know about the state of education in Tarrant County? Frank, what comes to your mind?
That we're doing all we can to make sure that tomorrow's students are prepared, and we wouldn't be in this if we, weren't driven by making sure that the next leaders are taken care of, those that will be sitting in these spots. I want the county to know that partnership is crucial. The involvement, it's an all thing. It's not a me thing or an I thing. Those are the things that I'm going to continue to be on the soapbox about. I think I can pass it over to some of my other colleagues here that have just as much passion and energy about what we're doing, the right things we're doing for kids.
Thank you. Dr. Ramirez, do you want to take it from there?
Yeah, I'd want the community to know that, we're offering the best education their students can get. And I say I'm sitting here with 4 dynamic superintendents. We're all working for the same thing. And the public needs to know that the programs that we offer are second to none. And you mentioned whether it's culinary, whether it's welding, whether it's an associate's degree, extracurricular activities. There's so many programs for our students to get involved and get engaged in something. We need the community to know to trust us with their students because we are offering the absolute best coming to work every day with the best teachers to provide a great education for their children. And I think sometimes they only get snippets of whether it's private school, charter schools, or the nice, shiny buildings. But again, I would say give us a chance to show what our students can do as we have high expectations for our students so they can achieve their success in all areas.
Okay. Jerry, what's top of mind for you to make sure the community knows about public education here?
Well, the state of public education in Tarrant County is strong, is the first thing I would say. The other thing I would say is we're doing more today to serve families and children than we ever have before. We are expanding our pre-K and our early learner opportunities, not only the ones that were provided by the state, but continually looking for ways that we can partner to create greater access for young learners. We know that when we get them, and our data is really good in Eagle Mountain-Saginaw, when we have the children before they get to kindergarten in our early learning, it makes all the difference in the world. And so that's a huge thing that I would want them to know. I'd want them to know that we still do, well, I won't say still do, we do we provide opportunities for children that are above and beyond what they even remember as their good old days in school. We do traditional school as well as anybody. When I say traditional, I'm like opportunities for kids to perform in band and choir and not just go out and play an instrument, to perform at the highest levels. Those are things that happen just routinely. We were at our convocation today, so while I'm wearing my maintenance T-shirt, we were at we had convocation today, and the Boswell Jazz Band was there playing, and we had cheerleaders performing, and those things just happen all the time. And they're routine, and we just don't think, but that's huge. And imagine how life would be in these communities without those things being present.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful remark. And if you haven't walked the halls of a high school campus recently or an early learning center recently, I think you don't understand as a community member, like what is happening in these buildings. And we made some references to some of the CTE program that's happening. I mean, there are kids in our districts who are sitting in crane simulators during the week and operating a crane. I mean, and then you drive around the county and you see the number of cranes out there in real life building things, and the connection becomes really palpable between what we're learning in your school districts and the practicality of that to the lived experience of being a resident here. And I don't think you understand until you've walked a classroom recently. So I think that's a wonderful.
Well, if I can add, it drives me batty when I see on like Facebook and people will say, I wish they'd pay as much attention to kids in trades as they listen. People have no idea. They don't even, in many ways, they don't understand the array of opportunities available to our kids through our career and technical programs. Most of the time when I tell a group or an individual, here's what we do on a routine basis to get kids certifications and get them ready for high-paying jobs, they're amazed. They just don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Donaldson?
Well, for me, the state of education in Tarrant County, or public education, we are united through partnerships with Rev. We're no longer in silos. So we're united in this work that we do. We're committed and we're focused. There are a lot of distractions from what has come out of the 89th legislative session, things that take place within communities, but we are focusing on kids, and we're going to do what's best for kids.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. And really, it's inspiring, and it makes me want to actually lead off in an answer to our next question, which is, you only get to pick one. What is one top priority for the year? And to give you time to think, I'm going to get started. And in listening, Dr. Hollingsworth, to your comments about CTE, Dr. Ramirez, Frank, Dr. Donaldson, my one priority for the year is making sure that we're telling that story better. That whether it's through phones and social media, or whether it's through getting people out there who wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity to step foot in your buildings and to see that work in action, because that's what it took for me, was to see it, to understand this is really what a high school experience looks like for a student in Tarrant County. And that it blew me away. And I think there are more people, Dr. Hollingsworth, who have to see it to really understand it. And there's an opportunity for us to tell the story about how united and together we are, all with kids at the heart of every decision that's being made. So that's my one thing in a couple of sentences, though, that I took to answer it. So do you want to get us started, Dr. Donaldson?
Man, that is so hard, though. One thing.
One priority for the year.
One priority for the year for us is our continued support of our teachers and focusing on people. As Dr. Ramirez said, it's not the programs, it's who we put in front of our students. We will always focus on our kids and making sure they get the best education each and every day. But for me, the focus is on our teachers, our support staff, and everyone that hits the pavement every day to make it happen for kids.
Same. So I would say exactly. That's the greatest resource we have is the staff and supporting them, because we all want great things in our school districts, and the way we do that is through our most valuable resource. That's our people. So I'm 100% with you.
I had a head start on this one. In our leadership retreat, that's a question that I asked. Similar question. I mean, because you're right, there's so many priorities, and what is the one thing that we need to do this year to increase student achievement? And again, we went back and forth. It was a dialogue. It was a dialogue back and forth, not all agree, but at the end, we came up with this one thing. And for us, it's high quality tier 1 instruction in every classroom.
Okay.
And I say that because that's where it happens, in the classroom, with students, with teachers leading the way. So our number one priority is walking classrooms and ensuring that we have high quality tier 1 instruction in every one of our classrooms.
Okay, wonderful. Dr. Hollingsworth?
Not unlike Dr. Ramirez, ours is focus on growth. Our number one priority is that every student's growing every year. And that's what all parents want. I mean, when you send your child to second grade, you want her to be ready for third grade when the year's finished. And so that's kind of part of the deal of education. And so that's our number one priority.
And since we know it takes people to see growth and have excellent tier 1 instruction, it seems like this is going to be the year of the teacher across Tarrant County, investment in our people. And the four of you are naming it. It's going to be the year of the teacher here in Tarrant County. And as we kind of move to the final question, if we were to flash forward 1 year from now and you're in these seats, it's the end of this academic year, what is your hope, your wish as a superintendent for your districts at the end of this academic year? What do you hope that we bring you back on the review podcast and you're sitting here saying something? What would that wish be that you have for each of the districts that you have the awesome and important responsibility to lead?
So for us, it goes back to every student, that every student feels a connection with a significant adult in our buildings, that every student feels loved. Every student is able to identify an area of passion, whether they would word it that way or not, but they know something that they get fired up about when it comes to their learning. That would be a wish at the end of that's a successful school year. Okay. Yeah.
Dr. Ramirez?
So our theme, we read the DOT as our read aloud, and it's from dots to masterpieces.
Okay.
So connecting it to our theme is my wish that this time next year is that every one of our students can say we met our student wherever they were at, and we just kind of moved them over to get to their masterpiece, whatever their masterpiece is. Mm-hmm. So that's the goal that we'll be talking about, student achievement, and that we met our goals.
Okay, 1 year from now.
You know, our theme this year is superheroes, White Summit ISD, and I believe that tailgating on the others as well, academic excellence from our superheroes, who are our greatest resource, is what I want to see a year from now. Together, all of us. But, you know, we have great people in our each district, but we're going to be laser focused on that academic success through our superheroes. We'll be able to launch that as well. So that's what I'm hoping and praying for at year's end.
Our teachers are our superheroes.
There you go. Exactly.
Dr. Donaldson?
For me, the end of the year, this time next year, is that we met our goals, that our students feel connected, that our students feel supported and successful, and most important, that we grew students and that we retained staff
Okay.
going into another school year.
As we wrap up the podcast today, I am going to walk out of this room feeling really inspired by the leaders that each of you are and feeling really hopeful for the year ahead because of the positions that you have in each of your districts. I think your commitment to investing in your people, your commitment to recognizing, as we heard today, that the earliest years of life and school, even before the first STAR test is ever taken, are years you don't get back and pay dividends for the future trajectory of that student's academic career with you. And also, and equally as important, is the commitment and determination that every single one of you has. And what I heard today from you two is, while we made improvement this past spring, you're not stopping here. This is just the beginning of continued forward progress, because every single one of you, I hear in you the heart that you have with students at the center
and you're just getting started for kids in Tarrant County. And that makes me feel very hopeful that this is going to be the best year yet for our students, and it's just going to keep getting better from here. And I do believe, Frank, we are better when we come together.
So
the
true.
support and camaraderie and networking helps us move hard things forward. And so thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for your decision to lead these districts and your commitment and persistence. And we hope that this is also just the beginning of continuing to share that story of the great things that you are leading and the great things happening within the walls of your schools and classrooms every single day, that our community deserves to hear more of that, because honestly, they're your stakeholders too. You know, they're investing in your schools in a variety of ways, even if it's just their tax dollars. And we have a shared value in making sure that they see, we have a shared benefit in them also seeing the value that we heard about today and what you're bringing to our region. So that was a very long way of a very simple ending, which is thank you. Thank you for the leadership that you bring to this work. And we are also right alongside you in knowing this is going to be the best year yet to come for kids.
Thank you for listening to The Review, a Rev Partnership podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to subscribe and follow us so that you never miss an episode. For more information on Rev Partnership, please visit our website at revpartnership.org and follow us on social media. Until next time, thank you.